Uber is now overcharging people if they are traveling and using Uber. That being said, there's some negative aspects to this, but also a couple positive ones. Now, I'm on the points guy right now, and you can see right down here, a sneaky new Uber feature may thwart your fee-free international spending strategy when it comes to traveling abroad. They're rolling out a preferred currency pricing in select locations, including the US, Canada, the United Kingdom, and European Union. Going down here, this is the main thing. Beginning on February 27th, so the time of this video in 10 days, Uber will charge residents in these areas a 1.5 currency conversion fee if they choose to pay in their preferred currency instead of the local currency when they request a ride abroad. So if you're traveling and you're paying, and like say if I'm in Mexico, because I was actually just there earlier this year. Like say I'm in Mexico and I pay for the Uber with United States dollars, I'm going to be charged a 1.5 currency conversion fee. Now, in order to change this, I have a video listed below that I did of how to set your preferred currency pricing in the Uber app. It takes 2 seconds to do, but here's what it comes down to. Because there's pros and cons to this. Because I'm wondering, you're like, wait, 1.5%, why are they charging me more? The preferred currency setting is intended to help riders know how much they pay when they travel internationally by displaying prices in their home currency rather than the local currency. This is a big thing. This also helps alleviate conversion fees charged by some banks and credit card issuers, which can exceed the 1.5% rate charged by Uber. That being said, if you pay with a card that doesn't charge foreign transaction fees, you're essentially giving Uber an extra 1.5% when you request a ride outside your home country. Now, if I go down here, this is how it looks. Again, I have the video list below in the description, my entire tutorial about this. But this is how it looks in terms of the visual aspects. That, let's say if I pick no preferred currency, I'm going to always pay in the local currency of the ride. So wherever I am, I'm paying in that local currency. Or I can select my preferred currency. So I'm always paying, let's say in USD, for example. And then down here in the fine print, 1.5% conversion fee will be added to your trip fare, and you agree to the terms and conditions. Now, I'm gonna be honest, there have been a lot of articles talking about this, being like, oh, Uber's overcharging you if you're traveling, doing extra foreign transaction fees that are being tacked on. I actually feel like this, from my perspective, isn't that bad. I gotta be honest, I have no affiliation with Uber, by the way, might as well say. 1.5% in general is pretty low. So if I spend $100 on Ubers, I'm going to give them an extra $1.50. Not the craziest thing. The second thing, as this article, as the points guy pointed out, as they pointed out, that if you think about it, if you have a bank or a credit card that does charge foreign transaction fees, that actually might cost you more money in the long run as if you just have Uber do the conversion for you. So that's one thing I do want to say too, that if you have a credit card that does kind of have foreign transaction fees, this is probably going to be cheaper for you. Then again, for me, I actually don't get foreign transaction fees charged on my credit card. So I don't have to worry about that too much, but this is something to be said. Lastly, and I think this is a big one that I got to be honest. The reason why that, let's say you have a credit card that doesn't charge these extra fees. Let's say you are literally just giving Uber extra money. Like for me, when I was in Mexico, my credit card did not get charged any extra fees for traveling. The big thing for me is being able to quickly see, is it worth it or not? Bit of a side point, but it's, I think, actually very important, because when I was in Mexico, I would order Ubers in actually the local currency. And I remember looking at the prices being like, okay, wait, how much is that again in United States dollars? Is it worth it or not? And I'm not sure exactly how much money I spent in Ubers in Mexico, let's say $100. So I saved $1.50 by doing this. I actually did save $1.50, but it was kind of a hassle. Every time I ordered an Uber, I'm like, wait, should I walk there? Is this worth the price? Should I do that? Should I take a taxi instead? Because sometimes taxis can be cheaper than Ubers, sometimes vice versa. Should I take the subway instead or whatever? And I think if you're traveling, there is something that's kind of nice. I'm going to be honest, of course, when you're traveling a lot and you're budgeting and looking at your finances, to be able to just pull up Uber, say, okay, here's exactly how much it is. It's $10, but United States dollars. It's $10. Is that worth it? Maybe I'm better off walking. Maybe I'm better off taking the subway or the train or maybe another form of transportation. Sometimes I will say this, for me, I'd almost rather spend that extra dollar, or excuse me, 1.5%. Or when I spend $100, I spend about $1.50 for this conversion. I'd rather spend that and instantly know exactly how much I'm paying and not have to do the conversion. Like I said, a lot of times in Mexico, I'd pull up that amount, Google how much is this and this, and I kind of got good at the conversion from, currency to currency, but it was kind of annoying that every single time I had to kind of rethink what that price was and determine, is it worth it? Maybe sometimes, like I said, I'm better off picking a other mode of transportation. And I think that's one thing I do want to say, that although right now, like I said, there's a lot of articles kind of bashing Uber for this. 1.5% isn't that crazy. 2, if actually you do have a credit card that does charge foreign transaction fees, this is going to be way lower than that. So this is actually probably helping you out more than anything. And lastly, 3, even if, let's say, your credit card does not charge these extra fees, there is something very nice about knowing exactly how much you're paying at that moment without having to do any conversion on your end.